Hallo Skatebolle. I trust that you are all well and healthy, safe, still at home, and hopefully a little bit bored, which means that you will be looking forward to making some memories with me during this lockdown period. With these videos and assignments, I will try to think of ways in which we can recycle and reuse the stuff that we already have at home. But whatever you don't have, please think out of the box and be as creative as you possibly can. I trust that you will be able to make some impressive stuff to come and show me. At the end of this video, there will be 5 short questions that I would like you to answer. Just write it on a piece of paper and keep it safe for when we come back to school. So today I will try and teach you how to finger crochet with using plastic. So you'll need plastic bag, scissor, a couple of these fingers, and a cup of coffee for some cuts. I'll see you soon, so let's start. Okay, so to start with, you will need your scissor, a couple of plastic bags. I found these different colors, even a nice pink one, which was a lucky find, and then your cup of coffee. So to start with, we will just take any of these bags. Just want to remove everything out of the way, and you will just start with ironing the plastic as flat as you can, and then you will fold it in half. Iron it flat, and then you will fold it in half again and iron it flat. Then you can take your scissor and cut this part off at the handles, and I'll turn it around and cut this part off. That is the closed edge, and we'll just cut that off. And next we're going to fold this whole thing in half like this and cut it through, so you have 2 halves, and then both of these halves you will fold in half again, cut it through, and then these quarters you will fold in half again, cut it through, and then these strips you can cut in half again, and that is the width of your yarn. So next we will fold it in half and cut it. Take this strip, cut it in half again, and then the next half you do exactly the same with it. You will cut it in half, take each quarter and cut it in half, and don't worry if it's not straight, because once you start using it you will see that you won't notice which parts were straight and which parts were not. And then the last quarter in half. Oops. And then the strips in half again. And there you have it. Now once you've cut the plastic bags, little loops like this, and we use them to knit, it is called plaan. Now plaan is yarn made of plastic. So you'll see that these are loops, don't cut them through. So you can open up all these and we will put them together. I will show you how to just now. So all these you will then use your loops. Let me just move that away so you can see clearly. So you take one side, the loop in one side, take another piece, put it through, open the loop up, and then take that part through the loop and pull it to form a knot. And that's your first join. Then you must move these up so that your loop is right in half, because if it doesn't and it makes a bubble on one end like that, it makes it difficult to use. So just keep those two edges straight, make a loop, take the yarn, put it through the loop, take those and pull it through to make a knot. I'll show you one more time. Take your loop, let's go a bit closer, take your loop, another strip through the loop, open it up and pull that through your loop. If you do this and you see that the loop doesn't want to make a nice knot, just open this one up to just help it to make a nice tight knot. And you continue with that with all the strips, and then I'll meet back with you when I've joined all my strips. Okay, so once you've joined all your strips, you can roll it into a ball like this. I will use the green one later, seeing that I only have one bag. This is about 2 bags that I've already prepared and rolled into a bowl, so I will start with this one. So to start with using your plan and making a crochet, we will do a slip knot. Now, a slip knot, you will hold the short end, put it over your fingers, and when it goes over that one, kind of in a cross, you will move that one in between those two to form a loop. And you can put your finger through. You can pull this tight, not too tight, because I need my thumb to go in there to catch the yarn to be able to make the first stitch. So to start off, we will make a chain stitch. So our first row of crochet stitches is called a chain stitch, and you basically do it with pulling this yarn through the loop and over your finger, and you can pull it a bit tighter. So that's chain 1. Next one, chain 2, chain 3. Don't pull it too tight, because it's easier in the beginning if you do it looser and you can see the stitches easier. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for this project, I'm just going to do 10 chain stitches. Now in the beginning, it looks a bit like nothing and a bit weird, but just like with the knitting, you remember from last year, is you need to start doing a couple of rows before it makes sense. So don't give up too easily. It will get easier as you go on, and your fingers initially wants to go in all different directions. So just hold out and do 4 rows before you decide, no, I'm going to start again. So now there's my 10 chains, my 10 stitches that I need to start with. So I've moved it over so that I have it on my right finger again. Lefties obviously will do it in the other direction. So there's my first stitch. Now I just want to use this long yarn again at the back. And every time you put this stitch on your right hand finger, if you are right-handed, you will do 1 chain stitch. So it looks exactly the same, only we are going in another direction. So 1, and pull tight, and there's your chain. Now, in each of these stitches, you will see that if you open them up a bit, there is 1, there's 2, 3. In every chain, we will do a single crochet stitch. And that's the first part of crocheting that we will learn. It's the easiest part of crocheting. So in each stitch, a single crochet. So you will put your finger through that first stitch, just find a hole, put your finger through the hole and grab that. I just want to make it bigger. Grab that thread or that yarn, pull it through so that you have 2 stitches on your fingers. Now I wiggle it because it helps to keep all my stitches even. So you have 2 stitches on your finger, then you take the long yarn and you will push it through these 2, just pinching it there, and I'm pulling it out to make another stitch. So there's my first single crochet stitch. Again, don't work too tightly. Later on you will get used to it and it will become easier. So there's stitch number 2. So I will open it up, put my finger through, pull the yarn through so that I have 2 stitches on my fingers. Once I have those 2 stitches, this long yarn needs to go through them to form the next stitch on my finger, and that's my second crochet. I find the 3rd stitch, just do that and you'll see it makes a bit of an opening. Put your finger through it, pull the long yarn through both of these so that you have 2 stitches on your finger, wiggle it and pull the yarn through. And that is how you make a single crochet stitch with using your fingers. So I'm going to go all the way up to the end and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so now I'm at the end of my row of chain stitches, and I just want to show the last one is sometimes a bit tricky to find because you're not sure which one to grab, but it is usually this top part, that's the top of your chain. So I just want to do a single crochet through there, finger through, and pull your thread through, and then you have 1 stitch, and that's the end of the row. So now you will turn your row again to the opposite side, and then what's important to remember every time you turn your row is you need to make a chain stitch, a single chain stitch, and then you're ready to go. So with this one you will see that to find the stitch on your single crochets, it is a bit of a loop. So you need to look at the top of your stitch or your row, and then you will see it makes a loop. Every stitch makes a loop. And now what's important is that you need to use these 2 together. So don't just sew through half of the stitch, you need to sew through both of them. So just look at it from the top and just go through it and see where's every stitch, and then you will see that it's easy to find, and then just make sure that you use both of them together like that. So to start with your second row, again pull it a bit tighter and then find your stitch. The first one looks a bit tricky because it usually rolls over to the other side, so there I found it. These 2, finger through, pull the yarn through on top of your finger so that you have 2 stitches, yarn through both of the loops to create 1 loop on your finger, and that's your first stitch, your second row. Then you find the next stitch, which is that one. It's usually looser, so there it is, finger through, pull your yarn through, 2 stitches on top of your finger, yarn through both loops so that you have 1 on your finger, and you continue up to the end of your row. When you get to the end of your row, remember to chain 1, and then you can do as many rows as you can. I will do a couple of rows and then get back to you. Okay, so I just finished row 3, and I just want to show you, if you get to the end of the row, usually the stitches is quite clear, so that is the end of row 3. Just want to finish the stitch, pull that through both of the loops, oopsie, and then remember to turn your row around and make a chain stitch. Don't forget the chain, otherwise it will end up being shorter at the sides. Now I just want to show you, this is only after 3 rows, so only now the pattern starts to emerge and you kind of get the hang of what the pattern will look like. Don't worry if it looks a bit out of shape at the end, you will be able to pull it nice and neat and make all your stitches look pretty. So don't give up before row 4, please. Knuckle down until there. Okay, so I've done about 18 rows and used about 3 plastic bags to get this far. Now I just want to show you if you need to change color or want to use another type of plastic for your next row, for example. So I haven't done my chain, I've just turned over my row. So instead of making the chain with that one, I'm just going to start with a new yarn, the new color, and again just fold it in double to make a loop, and then I'm going to pull this through as my chain 1, and then this old one I'm just going to pull both of them tight to form my chain 1. So there you go. I'm going to keep these two, the short one and the previous long one, out of the way, and then start with my next row, my next stitch, which is that one, and then do single crochet. Just put that back. So there's my next stitch, finger through the loop, just put that out of the way, stitch, and there's my 2 stitches, yarn through both of them, and I continue with my next row exactly the same, making single crochet stitches all the way up to the end. So I'll get back to you after I finished my green row. Okay, so I've just finished my first row green, so now I'm going to flip it over. Remember to start with a chain stitch, so chain 1, and then I'm going to continue again with just a single crochet, and then all the way up to the end, and I'm going to see how many rows I can get out of my green yarn. Okay, so I've managed to make about 3 rows with a green, and there's only a short piece left, so it won't be enough for another row. So now I'm going to change to the next color. I just want to show you, if this happens and you happen to have a loop in your yarn plan, you can just fold the 2 together, and then you can just move this knot up. It slides fairly easy into the position so that your plans are both equal again. So I just want to show you again how to change color. So there I finished my single crochet. I haven't done my chain yet, so I'll use my next piece, my next color, make a loop in it, and then pull that loop through to form my chain, and then I'll pull the old color tight, and I will show you how to finish that off later. So then there's my first stitch, which is my chain, and then I'll continue with stitch 1, pull it through and do a single crochet, and that's stitch 1, and then I'll continue with stitch 2 and see how many rows of pink I can get out of this one. Okay, so there's my last row. I finished it off with a small piece of green that I had left. So altogether I have 24 rows, and I've used about 6 plastic bags. I just want to show you how to finish it off with a slip knot. So there's my last stitch. It was a single crochet, so my double stitches are still there. I haven't done the chain stitch because I'm not going to go to another row. So for your single for your last stitch, your slip knot, you will just pull that thread through your loop, and you will pull it tight to make a slip knot, and this thread you will just sew away and hide it depending on which is your wrong side, and you can cut it off. You don't have to cut it off too short. And I just want to show you how to finish off all your other edges also with a slip knot. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm making a stitch into my side seam. Just want to get it into the stitch, and once you have it into the stitch, you will just pull it through the loop and make a slip knot. Be careful of pulling your plastic too tight so that it tears off. So there's my slip knot, and I will just make stitch into the side seam and cut it off. Just want to show you another one. So there's that white one. Just going to get both of them together, a stitch into the side seam and pull the thread through the loop to make a slip knot. Sew it away into the side, both of them, and cut. Okay, now I've done about 24 rows. I just want to show you how to finish off the sides. If you are happy with the length when you fold it double, then you can use it as a bag, for example, but you are more than welcome to do more rows. If you want to have it a bit longer, then just add more rows, 20 to 30 rows. I won't suggest that you make less than 10 stitches on your first attempt, but 20 to 30 rows is fine for the first time. And then into your side seams, these you will all just hide to the inside, exactly like we do with stitching. And then these first 2 stitches, remember that you take double, both of them. Just going to hide that one. And then you will just take the plant that you have left, pull it through the stitch, and make a slip stitch, just like that. And then you can just stitch through every single big hole like this. You just push your thread through and you will do an overhand stitch. I hope you all still remember the overhand stitch. That was one of the samples that we've done right in the beginning of the year when we've done hand stitches, is an overhand. So you just go over the edge, over the edge, over the edge. So you basically sew it through from the right side, finding every stitch and doing an overhand stitch and pulling it nice and tight and neat. And you can go all the way up to the end, and then you finish it off with a slip stitch as well. I will finish it off and get back to you right here at this point. Good, so here I'm at the end of my row. I've just pulled that last row of stitches on my fold line together, and then I'm just going to put my overhand stitch through this corner, and then I'm just going to finish it off with a slip stitch. So I'm going to make my loop, pull it through, hold my loop, and then pull the yarn through my loop. And there it's done. So now my corner is done and stitched, and then I'm just going to cut a small piece off, and I'm just going to work it away through to the inside so that I don't see the yarn sticking out. You know how I hate those little ears that sticks out if we don't sew them away. So there we go. The corner is finished off nice and neat. Let me just find it again. There you go. And I will finish off the other side again, exactly the same. Okay, so I finished with the crochet work, and I finished to sew both of the sides together, and you can see I just pulled it over an old can. It was a Milo can from the children that I saved, and now you can decorate it any way you want. I just want to show you, if you still have some of the plant left, just have a small piece of this pink to make a quick flower. But I mean, yeah, you can be creative as you want. So I'm just going to twist it over my hands, over my fingers till it's finished, and then I'm just going to hold it, pinch it, and then take another small piece that broke off when I made the plant. Then I'm just going to twist it over a couple of times and make a knot, double knot, oops, and then this piece I'm just going to cut off. And if you open it up, you can just spread out the little folds so that it looks like a flower. Remember, it's plastic. It doesn't have to be perfect. So however you make your flower, and then you can use these 2 long yarns to just put it through your big stitches, which is kind of really easy to use. And I'm just going to make another double knot to secure it. Again, be mindful of not pulling your plastic too tight because it might tear off. And now just hide it, cut it off, and make my flower. And this I've decided that I will use on my dresser, just with pretty stuff in. I have a scarf that I can add in there, and all types of beads. It's a bit close up, but I can't zoom out. And some more beads that I can just use, because these I usually just shove into a drawer and I can't see them, especially these brooches. I love brooches, but when they're in my drawer and I can't see them, I don't use them as often as I would like. So if I put it like this and I see it more often, then it might be more useful. And you can even add your danglies earrings so that you can see them and maybe use them more often. So Scatterbulle, that is how you finger crochet with plant. I hope that you will at least give it a go and try it and take some photos and come and show me when we see each other again. Here's some photos of 2 other places in my house that I have used it. Please also remember to answer the questions at the end of the video. You can write it on a piece of paper and then bring it to school as soon as we see each other again. Question 1. What is plan? Question 2. With which stitch do you start crocheting? Question 3. Which stitches forms the first row? Question 4. What's the name of the stitches you use after row 1? And question 5. With which stitches do you end off? Good day, Scatterbulle. See you soon. Bye-bye.